The 6000 series is rack-mounted control equipment that delivers video content and graphics to Daktronics LED displays. Both the DI and the VP have a flexible form factor designed with components that can be arranged in various configurations. In this training, we will be looking at the configuration backup feature. Why create a backup file? Creating a backup file can be used to clone the configuration from the primary processor to the backup processor, or vice versa. It can also be used to restore configuration if a processor was returned to Daktronics, either for repair or return or for exchanges, as long as the replacement processor has the same firmware version that the backup was taken from. In previous trainings, we have shown you how firmware is updated, and in that training, we advised you to do a restore point. The restore point is stored on the controller itself and are snapshots of both the firmware and the configuration. This restore point cannot be shared or saved to another processor. What we will show you today is the configuration backup process. These are files you download from and upload to the controller and are just the configuration. These can be saved to your hard drive, a flash drive, anywhere files can be stored. Watch as I create a backup configuration and then restore the configuration. First, we want to open the menu and then select the configuration backup icon from the user menu. Select Create Configuration Backup. This will start a download. If you're using Chrome, it will save to your Downloads folder. Once the download is complete, right-click and select to Show in Folder. From here, you can right-click and copy and then paste this file to any location you choose, whether it be a flash drive or a file on your desktop. Next, we'll take a look at restoring the configuration backup. Note that the backup file is specific to the firmware version in use when it was created and that system's hardware description, such as the number and type of cards. For example, a backup created from Rev 21 can only be used to restore to a system running Rev 21 with the same card configuration. So again, we're going to select the configuration backup icon from the user menu. This time we will click on the Restore Configuration Backup. This is going to let us browse to the location that we stored our configuration backup to. And here I just saved it to my desktop, so we'll scroll down and select that. And open it up. You are presented with the options to keep current, overwrite, or cancel. Pay close attention to the pop-up for details on each of these options. Keep Current will apply all configuration changes except for those stated in the pop-up. You may use the Keep Current option when uploading a primary system created configuration backup file to a secondary system as to not use the primary system's networking info on the secondary system or vice versa. As of Rev 24, the Keep Current will not overwrite the identity document or the network settings. The terminology in the pop-up may change in future releases if other settings become excluded and may not match this video. Be sure to reference the pop-up wording. Overwrite will overwrite all the configuration settings. Overwrite may be used when uploading a configuration backup file to the same system in which it was created from initially. It may also be used for field replacements. You make a config backup, disconnect the controller, hook up the new controller, gain access to it and update to the same firmware version, and then apply the config backup. Note, only overwrite the network settings if you are sure they are correct, otherwise you may lose connectivity. Cancel will abort the process and close the pop-up. After ensuring that everything works, a Daktronics technician or control system specialist will save the configuration backup from both the primary and the backup processors at the time of installation. It is a best practice going forward, after any firmware updates or configuration changes, that the configuration backup be ran and stored to ensure the backup is at the same state as the 6000. Depending on the configuration, the file could be anywhere from a megabyte to a couple hundred megabytes. A typical flash drive should have more than enough space to hold them. As mentioned earlier, these files can be used to clone your primary and backup processors. They could also be used to get your configuration files back to that original state in the event you would need to send in your processor for repairs. Please note that this backup file must be the same firmware version it was created on and the same hardware description file on the device, such as the number of cards and the types. This is why it is important to keep a current copy after any configuration changes. Daktronics customers wanting more information on the 6000 series may search our online knowledge base at www.daktronics.com/support. In the search bar, enter 6000 plus the feature you want more information on and click the search button.